This video contains discussions relating to death and abuse and major spoilers for Gone Home. You don't need to have played it, but it helps. It's the year 1995 at 1 in the morning. You're 21-year-old college student Katie returning home after a year abroad. In the meantime, your father, mother, and sister moved into a new house nicknamed the Psycho House. A nickname that the house immediately lives up to, as it looks straight out of a horror movie. I mean, Gone Home did begin its life as a mod for Amnesia: The Dark Descent, so that shouldn't come as a surprise. Every corner is cast in darkness. The phones aren't working. A thunderstorm is raging outside, and while the lights are all on, no one is home. Neither your parents nor your 17-year-old sister Sam. A page in the typewriter stops halfway through a sentence. The TV is playing a bad weather warning on loop. All the expensive electronics have been stolen. To make matters worse, apparently Sam was even trying to contact her late great uncle Spirit, and there's even a suspicious blood-like liquid in the bathtub. So whoever, or whatever, was here, it's long gone, together with the inhabitants of the house. And it's only up to you to discover the sinister secret that lurks behind these walls, all by yourself. However, it turns out that there's no murder around and no ghost haunting the place. Your parents left on a trip to a marriage counseling retreat. The seance? Teens messing about. The blood? Hair dye. And if this were a horror story, you wouldn't have been listening to the disembodied voice of your sister gushing about a girl she fell in love with.
You know that feeling where the first moment you see someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them? Well, there's this girl. I think she's a senior. She's usually dressed kind of punk, but sometimes I see her in this, army uniform, and she's always drawing in this notebook, looking so intense. I had no idea how I would ever, have an excuse to talk to her.
But where is your sister? You only hear from her via random notes scattered about. In the very first one, she urges you not to try to find her. The answering machine also has 2 messages from a tearful girl begging to talk to her.
Sam, where are you? Really? I need to talk to you. Please be there.
As you continue playing, it's revealed the girl is called Lonnie, Sam's girlfriend. Unfortunately, as Lonnie was attending the junior training corps, she was going to move on to basic training after graduating, leaving Sam behind. Sam is understandably distraught by this, as she'd lose her best friend and the one person she wants to spend the rest of her life with. So in one of her last messages, she explains she's heading up to the attic, as all she wants to do is sleep.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait.
Losing her girlfriend, telling you not to find her, and now talking about how tired she is. Oh no, Sam. Please tell me you didn't. But there's nobody there either. In fact, the only things left are a few photos and a journal filled with letters, addressed to you, the ones you'd been hearing throughout the game. And as you open the book, it's revealed that Sam is fine. Shortly before you arrived, Lonnie had called her and told her she couldn't go through with joining the army. So the two of them decided, on a whim, to pack up their things, steal the electronics in the house for cash, and drive away in their car to start their new life together elsewhere. A happy ending after all, especially after all the troubles and tribulations we went through. A sad punk love song plays, the credits roll, I cry a bunch, and all is well. And then you get the option to continue the game. There's no more story, except for the bits you might have missed. It's just you, Katie, alone in the house. And it hits you. You're alone. Your sister is gone. Gone home, if you will, but still gone. The wind howling outside and the rain lashing against the windows reminds you of the bad weather. Weather that your teenage sister and her girlfriend are now driving through, going to who knows where. Do they even know? Do they even have a plan beyond being together? Do you call somebody? Or the lines are dead, and even if not, the two could be miles away from here. This is the first time Katie set foot in the house. She doesn't even know what kind of car her sister drives. It's just you in that strange house all by yourself, with no idea of what to do next. So, despite not being a horror game in the classical sense, Gone Home still tells a horrifying story. Sure, it's packaged as a sweet love story, and I was definitely rooting for them. But as someone who's going to turn 30 very soon, I read this a bit differently. Sam and Lonnie are teenagers with barely any education, let alone important papers. Aside from the idea of let's drive, they have nothing lined up. No job, no training, no place to live in. Not even mentioning what a bad influence they are on each other sometimes. And sure, they're in love, but they are each other's first love. It's exciting and romantic, but what if it falls apart? What if they leave the honeymoon phase? What if they get to know each other properly, but realize they're not meant for one another? If they even get there, that is. The aforementioned thunderstorm is so severe that citizens are advised to stay indoors. And yet, two teenage lovebirds are able to drive safely? Or maybe they get caught after all, and then what? Sam's parents, being conservative suburbanites from the 90s, are definitely not going to be very forgiving of the whole situation. At best, they'd forbid her from spending time with Lonnie and focus on school. At worst, they'd send her off to a conversion camp because of her homosexuality, something already hinted at in the game. And Lonnie? Her parents are divorced, the relationship with her mom being especially terrible. It's a special kind of horror, a very domestic one. Not one where everyone gets slaughtered terribly, but one where people still suffer. In fact, the family itself has a few skeletons in the closet. The parents' marriage was kind of falling apart, with the mother thinking about cheating with a hot co-worker. Aside from being a failing rider, the dad was even implied to have been sexually abused by his uncle, whose house you're in. So how would Sam running away impact this already pretty strained family dynamic? Honestly, as horrifying as I've been describing these events, and as real as the dangers may be, I think it's going to be fine. Yes, it's a puppy dog love between Sam and Lonnie, but it's not like the affection is one-sided or they're not supportive of each other. And the weather may be bad, but Katie got there just fine, didn't she? Even if conditions are extreme, that doesn't guarantee an accident. They're not idiots, I'm sure they'd stay at a motel for a night if it got too bad. And even if they have no future plans, they're not without skills either. Sam is a good rider, Lonnie is a great singer and musician. They have a car, they have items to pawn, and if push comes to shove, they can find work somewhere, especially in the underground culture. The parents, on the other hand, hard to tell. They might get divorced and they'll definitely be furious. But at least Katie's there to get them through everything. She seems to be the favorite daughter anyways, so maybe they're more likely to listen to her when it comes to Sam's lesbianism. And like Sam herself said, Katie is going to meet her again. The bond the two share is the second strongest one in the game. You don't write an entire journal for someone you don't get along well with, after all. But isn't that what all horror stories are about in the end? They're about trauma, but also about hope. It's fitting the game is based on amnesia then. Daniel may have had to walk through a monster-infested castle, but he was able to defeat the greatest one of them all. Because sometimes, you just gotta go through hell to end up in paradise. And I'm sure that's where Sam and Lonnie are too. Thank you.